Michigan versus UConn, two storied franchises, two storied programs. We're going to talk about that. Geno Auriemma and Don Staley almost duke it out in the middle of the Final Four. That was crazy. Plus, we get to Wemby versus Jokic. And me and Katie have put together our NBA awards. You're talking Coach of the Year, talking Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, MVP, all that good stuff on the show today. Make sure you're showing us some love on Spotify, on YouTube, on the WDFL app. Go download that. And if you're local, go check it out. Channel 18. Let's start the show.
Inside the game. Yeah. Turn it up. Welcome to the crossover. Keon Doolin, 10-day tuning. Let's talk NBA. Crossover.
KD, national championship game tonight.
Yes, sir.
We got Michigan and we got UConn. UConn's, what is it, third trip back to the Final Four, third trip back to the national championship game in his, 4 years?
Yeah, man.
Unprecedented stuff by Danny Hurley. Unprecedented stuff by Dusty May, who took FAU to a Final Four. And now they got the Michigan team, who I thought it's probably been the best team all year outside of Duke. But the difference, and we've talked about it, is when you've got those upperclassmen, you've got those sophomore, juniors, and seniors that have been bought in, that have been battle tested in the NCAA tournament versus a bunch of guys who were playing at Columbus, not even 8 months ago.
Right.
Like that changes things.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's one of these situations where the transfer portal has been beneficial to Michigan, right?
Thanks.
By getting these guys who have been through other programs and giving them more confidence, getting them in Dusty's system has been very beneficial for them. But Michigan, they're just playing incredible ball. There's something about Dusty Baker that kind of reminds me of
Dusty Baker.
I'm sorry.
He's the manager now for Nicaragua.
Exactly. I'm sorry. Dusty. But anyway,
I like that though.
I know, my bad.
No,
apologies. But the guys play for him, right?
Tough.
He's got a perfect demeanor as far as that balance between being intense and being encouraging. And he's doing a fantastic job with his program. The guys enjoy playing for him, and he's going to win a national championship tonight.
And we had them going pretty far. And then when you look at their game against Arizona, it was like, all right, Arizona's one of the best teams in the tournament still left, and they put a whooping on Arizona.
I mean, it wasn't even close. And one of the biggest things that I like about the Michigan vibes right now is that I saw the entire Fab Five there, right? And, they were disconnected for a while. They kind of came back together, and to see them being able to celebrate that, highlight that, it's a lot of history in that program, and they're doing a great job.
They won a national championship not too long ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now it's Dusty May's got them back playing incredible basketball. Look at the other side of the bracket. UConn's just kind of been a team of destiny.
Yes.
With another team laden with upperclassmen. Caraban's been great for them. They put his numbers in the rafters. Illinois has been a spunky, tough team all year. Had Peja Stojakovic's kid.
Yeah.
Had the other kid,
Wagler,
who's been great.
Nice.
But UConn again, just tough, just coached better, just a complete team for the talents that they had. They've maximized it. I just think it comes to an end tonight.
Yeah, I agree. It comes to an end tonight, but that's not a slight at them. They've done a great job all year just playing together, taking on the reflection of their coach and his personality, and they play together as a unit. They're ready for the moment. The moments aren't too big for them. Those guys step up, not just from making plays, but from an intensity level. They are very physical. They got guys who can play multiple positions. They play really good together. They run kind of an international basketball style as far as their offense. It's not like a lot of spread offense and things like that. It's refreshing to see cutting and coming off pin downs and coming off the floppy action. 100%. Hurley gets so much credit or so much attention around his personality. But I think what we really miss is how great he is as far
X's and O's.
X's and O's and motivating his guys and encouraging his guys and also his sense of humor. Right? Because just how ferocious he could be sometimes when he goes head to head with somebody. Right? You see him in the press conference and making fun of himself and laughing with his players and things like that. So he's got range in his personality.
I'm excited for the game tonight. 8:49, 9 o'clock tip, somewhere around there.
Oh, yeah, the lights on.
Yeah, late games though.
Yeah, the lights on though. We got to make sure the people on the West Coast watch.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. I don't know if my daughter's gonna let me watch, but that's another story for another day.
Well, you can watch it on your phone, champ.
I'm gonna try. Going to the women's side, UCLA won the women's tournament. I know you had some interesting thoughts on Don Staley and Geno Auriemma, who that happened in the Final Four.
That did.
South Carolina ended up going to the championship game against UCLA. UCLA won by 20 some odd points.
Yeah.
Spanked them. So big win for UCLA. One of their first, I don't know if it's their first or first in a long time.
It's their
tournament
first.
title.
I know the coach been there 15 years, and this is her first one. So congratulations.
What'd you think about Geno and Don Staley?
Well, what do I think about it? I think Geno was out of place. Look, he's been successful. He's been kicking ass for a long time.
Pioneer.
And yeah, man, I mean, he's pretty much considered the best female coach in the history of women's college basketball. They might be, you can throw Pat Summer in there. There's other people who have had a lot of success. But just in that moment, I thought that was, not the time and the place for that. I know he talked about the traditions and the handshake before the game. So if he missed that and he felt some type of way, he has a right to feel that type of way, but not necessarily to act on that. I think he missed the mark with some of his comments as far as, hey, they ripped the shirt, right? And then the film shows that, no, she ripped her own shirt. And then he apologized, but not specifically to Don Staley. But look, it is competition, right? So you can get heated in those moments. But I think it's a growth moment for him. He hasn't been on the losing end a whole bunch, and it doesn't feel good when you do. But it took away a little bit from the job that South Carolina did as the underdog, right? Look, I just didn't like, the interaction. Also, when you're a man in a woman's sport, I think you have to be a lot more delicate, in those kind of situations, because that could be coming off as toxic masculinity, right? And so, hopefully he can grow from it. Hopefully he can, be man enough to kind of call Don and say, hey, you know what? I apologize for that particular moment. It was in the heat of the battle. I had a chance to reflect, and I apologize for that. I'll see you on the court next year. We'll be back.
Right. Yeah. It's tough, especially when you're a legend of the game. Like, what you say and what you do, your actions hold so much more weight than if it was somebody from some college that, we don't ever think of a Wyoming State College and somebody's doing something like that. Doesn't hit the national news like a pioneer of the sport. One of the greatest dynasties ever put together has been through Storrs, Connecticut, through Geno Auriemma. And for him to do that in the middle of the game, I thought was beneath him. Like that's not who he's
better
been.
than that.
Right.
Yeah. He's
never been that guy.
Yeah.
Right. And now we see it now.
Yeah, well, look, in order to be like a great coach, you have to have that fire.
For
sure. In order to coach that many players, who are elite players, Hall of Fame players, have that many national championships, have that many wins. Like, you don't get that like just sitting on your hands, right? But just in that moment, man, I just don't think he handled himself well. But he's done enough in the game where, like, he had a moment, right? And he can rebound from it. Now, how he rebounds is totally up to him. I think he should take the approach of humility and apologize. Because it could impact recruiting, right? Girls have more flexibility now to go play for other programs. There are some good programs out there that are led by females as well. So I just think he has to navigate this situation, because it will be like he will be judged from it, how he handles it.
Yeah, that's definitely something. After the game, you go to the locker room, hey, coach, what we like to do is X, Y, and Z. I know, for whatever reason, just want you to let you know that I was upset about that. And like, that's something you take care of one-on-one.
Yeah.
Not when everybody's watching in the middle of the handshake line at the end of the game when you lose.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
That's the part that was just tough to see. Some other great basketball over the weekend: Wemby versus Jokic.
Yes.
KD.
Let's talk about this.
Denver Nuggets with a 2-point win over the San Antonio Spurs in OT. This is your king. I feel like T'Challa. This is your king. Like Wemby gets destroyed by Jokic every time he's on the court.
Yeah. Jokic, he takes things really personal. I think he gets up for some people more than others. I think Rudy Gobert is one of those guys because he was so, multiple time winner of Defensive Player of the Year. And when I was coaching with the Jazz, man, the first time I saw him play against Rudy, like I was like, oh, okay, I'm a believer. like Joker is the best player in the NBA.
Bar none.
He's the best player in the NBA. You can make an argument that he should be MVP every year. If you just go by individual numbers. And I think this year is no different. I think, I look at it a little bit different. Like he's kind of leaped Wemby in my eyes now, because you talk about Wemby having the edge defensively. There was no edge when you're playing against the Joker, right? And he had blocks and he still played good defense, but it was just better offense. Like the guy has no flaws in his game.
All right. Nikola Jokic career averages versus Wemby: 37 points, 11 rebounds a game, 9 assists a game on 55% shooting. Let me read you the last couple of games. 48 and 13 assists, 46, 9 and 10, 41, 18 and 9, 22, 7 and 12, 42, 16 and 6, 31-7 on 68% field goals, 39-11-9.
Hey, is Joker leaping some of the legacy centers as far as top 5 centers
Absolutely.
all time? He's leaping a lot of guys, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why when we had Remy on and we were talking about top 10 players of all time, Jokic is there for me now.
Yeah. Ooh.
He's there for me now because what he's doing on a day in and day out basis in the NBA of this, right, where we talk about back in the day, oh no, you can't compare eras because everything was so different. Well, you're talking about one of the greatest defenders we've ever seen with our human eyes in Wemby. Another guy who's been an all-time great defensive big in Anthony Davis. Another all-time great, however you want to say it, because of the numbers, because he's won so many defensive player of the years, in Rudy Gobert. He dominates all of them.
Yeah.
He dominates everybody. I'm going to get the stats because I had it here while you answer this question, but it's like his ability to do everything on the best defenders, like what we saw on Saturday, him doing the turnaround shot over Wemby, who's completely outstretched trying to block that shot straight over his head. Yeah. Another floater that went 14 feet in the air past the jumping Wemby. What can Wemby do outside of trying to block shots and stay in front of him? He doesn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can't get on the side of him because he'll bump you
right, and he's
space.
strong as
he's
hell.
Got pivots, he's got spin moves, he's got counters. He can go through you, he can go around you. Believe it or not, like he's so tricky. Like he gets to his spot. He's got a hell of a floater too. So much touch in the lane. And he can catch it in that roll, right? In that little short pocket pass roll. And he can like be going into his floater and then flip the ball on the money to the corner. Like Joker is one of the best players I've ever seen. I think his resume does have to be buffed up a little bit from the championship category because like that is heightened when you're talking about top 5, top 10, greatest centers of all time. But he's fastly approaching that. I think he might end up getting another MVP this season, depending on how the voters vote, whether they give it like as a team, award or if they're making an individual award. But I'm just loving it. I'm loving it. And he goes at Wemby every time.
So Jokic since 25, so we're not counting years prior to that. Since 2025, he's averaging 42, 12, 11 with a block and a steal per game on 58% true shooting. Against Anthony Davis since 2024, he's averaging 30, 14, and 10 on 65% true shooting. And since 25 on Gobert, 40 points a game, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, a steal, and a block on 75% true shooting against Rudy Gobert. You line up every big that has ever had any sort of defensive metric where people say, yeah, that's the best defensive big in the league, and Jokic is dominating them. You're talking about 40 points against Wemby, 30 points against Anthony Davis, and 40 points against Rudy Gobert.
Yeah. Yeah, so I hear you. Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. But I'll also push back a little bit. Like, I believe that the centers were better in the generation before them when it was more of a center-dominated game. So defensively, those guys were better. I'm not saying that they would stop Joker, but it was more difficult to score on Ben Wallace in the post and things like that compared to like a Rudy Gobert.
I don't know, man. I think Jokic would get Ben Wallace out to the 3-point line and give him hell.
I hear. It sounds good. It sounds good.
You're saying it sounds good?
It sounds good.
Being true is two different things.
Yeah, it sounds good because like the rules were different too, right? Because you could use a bent elbow
you can't get a
bent forearm as well. So the rules were different. It was more difficult to score. It's not to take away from like how talented and how easy he makes the game look, but just the rules didn't prevent you to have that type of freedom of movement. Like they had to, like Shaq used to have to run up the court and people would like hold him up to like prevent him from
getting
running.
To the block, yeah.
Right? So like you would have to spend so much energy and you would have to guard on the other end, like on the block.
Be the defensive anchor, right?
Right. So it's not to take away anything from Joker. It was just more difficult to score back then.
I think the interesting point too that when I was looking at everything, I was like, wow, not only does Joker dominate against Wemby, but could this be the thorn in the side of the San Antonio Spurs when we talk about this incredible year that they're having? They own Oklahoma City, right? Like the Spurs have beat them, 4 out of 5 times this season. Wemby has done whatever he's wanted against Chet Holmgren. Like SGA, as great as he is, probably going to be the MVP for a second year in a row, on top of being the best team for the second year in a row. The Spurs own them. And then for somebody to own the Spurs the way that Jokic does.
You said the Nuggets own the Spurs?
No, the Spurs own OKC.
Oh, okay.
And now the Nuggets own the Spurs.
Really?
So that transitive property math is like, all right, can Jokic, who took OKC to a game 7 last year.
Mm-hmm.
Can Jokic be the guy that can turn all these coming out parties with the Spurs and continue dominance with OKC? And Jokic is there like, hold up, y'all got to go through me real quick.
Absolutely. I mean, look, he's been there. He's battle tested. He is a champion. He is a multiple time MVP, and he's really competitive. Not only is he competitive, in the crowd, his brothers are too. Right? They don't play about their little bro. And he's chasing legacy as well. I know he doesn't probably talk about it as much, but he knows that he's got to buff up his championship accolades, and he's focused. I think that their Achilles heel is that they just haven't been healthy enough as a team.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like when you lose Michael Porter Jr., when Aaron Gordon has been hurt so much this year, I just don't know in a 7-game series if they can beat those two teams that you mentioned previously.
Right. It's going to be tough. Christian Brown's been hurt in and out of the lineup this year. Peyton Watson's been in and out of the lineup this year.
Hardaway Jr.
Murray has been in and out of the lineup sometimes, but more so than injury has just been his play.
Yeah, he's been up and down.
Where it's like,
you
look,
one night.
Right. He went for 50 the other night, but then you look at the box score and he's got 16, and you're like, wait, what? Like, why'd that happen? Then he hit 10 threes the night after, but then he's back to like 14 and 7 boards. It's like, what's going on here with this guy? So I know that he steps up in the playoffs.
Yes, he does.
And I'll be very interested to see where Denver finishes in the seeding and who they have to, what side of the bracket they're on, if they're on the OKC side or if they're on the San Antonio Spurs side. Because if they're on the Spurs side, that is a big problem. And I think Wemby's going to have to come out and prove to people, all right, why am I defensive player of the year? Because I can do this to this guy. Yeah. The best offensive player. You can have the debate between him and SGA, but like what we've seen, you and I, from a guy that can rebound, pass, and score, there's nobody like Jokic.
No. I don't think there's anybody like Jokic in the history of basketball.
Facts.
Nobody plays the way that he plays.
Facts. So with all that said, and you made the beautiful case for me, I want to do Tony's and KD's NBA awards for the year.
Okay, let's do
So
it.
I got, for MVP, for all the different reasons that I noted, I got Jokic as my MVP for the season. I know he's not getting a lot of love in sportsbooks. I know that SGA is the favorite. I know Wemby is charging towards an MVP at some point. I don't think he's going to be able to be that guy this year. But for me, Jokic has been the best player. And remember, we talk about it, MVP, not MVT. It's not about your team.
Yeah.
It's about your individual performance. For me, it's Jokic.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not going to push back too hard on that because I agree with you. I think he's the best player, on the planet right now. And I think most people agree with that. But I also think that, SGA and what OKC is doing this year, I think he has an opportunity to be back-to-back MVPs. I think he has an opportunity to, have back-to-back championships.
Yeah.
As well.
That'd be a hell of a 2-year run, right?
SGA is my pick only because the team, right? And I think that the voters, for some reason, they limit. I think they're trying to put a cap on Joker because he could literally win the MVP every year. And then at the end of the career, if he had 5-6 MVPs and one championship, is it justified when they put so much stock on having championships? So like I said, I just think you got to get some type of formula so that you can know how the voters are voting when it comes to MVP.
And to speak about SGA, OKC's been one of the most hurt teams all year.
Yeah.
And they're still at 60 wins. They're still at number 1 in the West.
Yeah.
They're still at the best team in the league, trying to repeat from being the best team last year. And SGA has been the one guy constant drumbeat of excellence all year, day in, day out. Of course, he missed some games due to injury and stuff, but he's just been so great.
Yeah.
That you're looking at an unprecedented run. I don't know, maybe we can look this up, Sean. How many guys have won back-to-back MVPs, back-to-back championships, back-to-back NBA Finals MVPs?
Man, he's got a chance.
Because I imagine that's a very small list of people that have ever done that before.
One of the things before we go on with SGA, he's bringing the midi back, right? The game has shifted so much, and the way that he plays, the game is having to adjust to the way that he plays, and I think that's really encouraging for guards who don't want to just be a rim and 3 guy, right? He can still get his mid range, whatever the defense gives him, whatever the team needs in that moment is what he does, and so he plays basketball. He hoops.
Yeah.
He's not just playing the system or the analytics. He's a hooper, and I think that's very encouraging. And I think that's one of the most influential things that he does is that he plays the game and not just the algorithm.
Yeah, and I think his style of play is so interesting when you talk about a lot of guys are speed downhill. He's very much hold it, hezzy, in, out. Euro step, like his ability to play off schedule and off script and just like allow the defense to make a move and then he makes a counter move, like a great counter boxer.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you got this? Okay, perfect. I got this right here. Oh, you left this open. Here is a liver shot. Like his ability to in real time read and react is incredible. Like
Unbelievable.
He's great.
Unbelievable.
Defensive player of the year. We're both in the same bucket.
I mean, unless he's playing against the Joker.
It's Wemby. I don't know if you saw, they were playing the Clippers the other night, and I saw this clip on Instagram or Twitter or something, where Wemby was guarding Darius Garland.
Mm-hmm.
He takes him basically from half court, goes with him into the corner when he passes out, goes back to the wing with him, defends him back to the corner, and then is defending him with Darius Garland in the corner. He makes a move to the inside and tries to take it to the hoop, and he smacks that.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
His ability to defend not only at the rim but perimeter wise, his length, his foot mobility, his agility, his ability to move laterally with some of these guards in the NBA is insane.
Yeah. It's insane. And even with that, man, his motor, like he plays defense with a motor. He plays with a motor on both sides of the court. And that says something about that young man. And he's slight of build as far as being thin. He's still growing into his body. I don't think he'll ever be like super big.
No.
But he's gotten a lot stronger, right? And like when guys are trying to score on him, the first thing they're going to do is try and get into his body. So he's a lot of time able to absorb the contact and still contest. A lot of people don't even try to shoot on him as well. So like defensively, he probably could have more blocks, more steals,
which is
more
crazy.
contests. But people don't even challenge him a lot of times unless you're in Denver and you see that big guy coming at you.
And then he's throwing these parabola balls right over Wemby that are shooting him 20 feet in the air that are coming down and swishing. It's like,
I know, bro. It's fun to watch.
What kind of math is he doing in real time?
Man. He's a wizard.
All right, we differ on the most improved player, but we got the same team.
Yes.
So do you want to start with yours?
Yeah, I'll go with Jalen Johnson.
Great pick.
And here's why. Because like with superstar players, like statistically, they don't like have these leaps and bounds as far as like their growth because they're already good players. But he took another step this year, right? With his body, he's been, healthier this season. He's gotten better in every statistical category, and he was an all-star this year. And so I think he's the best player on that team. And I know it's not a big leap as far as his numbers statistically, but his impact and his value and the way that they're winning now, I think those it's more valuable. So to me, he's my most improved.
I like the pick. Before I give mine, I know MVP guys that are in the MVP race don't usually get love for most improved. I thought Cade had an incredible improvement from last year to this year, where the Pistons last year were a good, young, kind of like tough team, but they were, the 5th seed or whatever it was, and they fought the Knicks hard, and it was like, all right, this Pistons team could be interesting.
Yeah.
And then he gets in this year, and it was like, oh no, the Pistons are the best team in the East when he's healthy. And obviously they've been able to win a couple of big games with him out, but I thought his improvement from last year to this year was monumental.
Absolutely.
So I would have liked to give it to Cade. I'm not going to give it to him because I'm going to go with Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Okay.
Who's been one of the best pickups in, obviously completely stacked conference in the West, gets out of Minnesota, goes to Atlanta. When they made the move, we were like, okay, let's see what happens here. This is very interesting. And he's just been really, really good for them all year, in a year that has seen them be, all right, what are we going to do with Trae Young? He's hurt. He's out of the lineup. It's kind of like a bit of a rocky boat here. We know it's Jalen Johnson's team, but Trae Young is still here. He's the franchise player. Yeah. He gets moved, and then all of a sudden the floodgates open up with Atlanta, where they're 22-4 or whatever over the last month and a half. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker, we talk about how good of a March Luka had. If you look back at his March, you're like, oh, wow. He's been one of their best offensive players. He's played great defense. Yeah. He's a guy that, to me, I was super, super impressed with his improvement year over year. So I'm going to give it to Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
And you get no pushback from me. That's a great pick.
Coach of the year, who you got?
You know what? I'm gonna go with JB. I'm gonna go with Bickerstaff.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bickerstaff. I just think that being the number 1 seed in the East shouldn't be minimized. I believe he was the number 1 seed in Cleveland, right? The year that he got fired and didn't get Coach of the Year. And so, how many times do you have to be number 1 before you get that recognition? I don't think Detroit has the most talented team in the East, right? No. And I think he's getting the most out of them. Now, of course, Joe Mazzulla is amazing. right? And what he did with that team this year, I tip my hat to him. But in the same way that we look at the MVPs, I think Joe has Joe been coach of the year yet? I'm not sure, but I just think that like how many times can JB have the number one team in the East and not get coach of the year?
Yeah.
I think he's gotten the most out of his talent. And I think he deserves it this
especially
season.
with your main, guard and your main scorer and your main everything.
Yeah.
The engine of your offense being out with with an injury for basically the last month.
Yeah.
Like that's a big deal for.
Okay.
So would be the first if he wins it this year. I'm going to give my coach of the year to Mitch Johnson.
Okay.
Spurs coach. I think he's done an incredible job. Obviously, when you have the defensive player of the year on your team, who also happens to be a great offensive player and in the running for MVP, things are a little bit easier. Obviously, as you could tell with JV Bickerstaff, like when you got the guy who's the guy, makes coaching the other guys a lot easier. I just think that the program, we've talked about it all year, the program that the Spurs have, their ability to get the guys like Castle and Vassell and Harper and Fox and, you name it, like they've been able to, Keldon Johnson, who might be sixth man of the year. Like there's a lot of guys who, when you look at them, you're like, I don't know how great they are individually, but then they get together in the team aspect and they get coached up like Mitch Johnson has been doing. I think since the All-Star break, they've lost like 3 games.
Yeah, no, he's done
like 4 games since the All-Star break.
He's done a fantastic job. And man, it's something
crazy
about those Spurs disciples, man. Like wherever they go, they bring that Spurs way of doing things.
And they win.
Look at the guy down in Charlotte and kind of what he's doing.
Yeah,
he started,
Lee,
he was there. Yeah. So yeah, great pick.
Sixth man of the year.
Sixth man of the year. I think the sixth man position is down. Right. And this is something that I feel like young players need to like really observe because like guys aren't coming in getting great numbers coming off the bench as far as scoring. Right. They're playing their role. They're adding value to the team. When somebody goes down, you can plug them in as a starter. But you don't see like a Jamal Crawford or you don't see a Lou Will or you don't see Jordan Clarkson when he was in Utah coming off getting 20 a night. You don't like I don't see a lot of great six man
is done.
Yep, so I'm going to go with Keldon Johnson just because, like, the Spurs have been playing very well. He's been very consistent on his team. They asked a lot of him on the defensive end, and they asked a lot of him for him to be able to come off the bench by being one of their, cornerstones in the franchise. So I'll go with him this year.
I'm going to go hometown guy, Jaime Jaquez Jr.
I ain't mad at that.
Who's been great. Obviously, they played the Wizards, but had a great game against the Wizards. But he's been another guy who's been able to come off the bench on a team that, let's be honest, he probably could be starting on.
Yeah.
And he's been able to execute what Spo has asked of him.
Yeah.
Right. Which is be the guy who's rim running, be the guy who's slashing, who's striking. He doesn't really shoot a ton, but he's such a creative playmaker on the post.
Yeah.
His post game is nice for a guy who's his size. Like there's a couple of things where I look at Jaime and I'm like, man, if he was on another team, would he get more love and more respect? And
Absolutely.
I feel like he would.
He's going to get paid. He's going to get paid
By somebody. I don't know if the Heat are going to pay him.
Yeah, not necessarily by
but
the Heat,
somebody
but
will.
his value is up there.
Clutch player of the year.
SGA.
Easily.
Yeah, SGA.
Nobody like him.
Yeah.
Like crunch time, his ability to score and to create offense when there is nothing is next to none.
SGA.
Rookie of the year. Probably, and I'll say this, the most contested, the best rookie of the year race we've seen in the modern era. Is that safe to say?
That's pretty safe to say. I mean, I would have to go back to like Grant Hill and Jason Kidd.
But we're talking about what, 95?
I know 96? I'm a little older than you. You see the grays. Don't do me like that, my young boy. Don't do me like that. But this is great in a lot of ways. One, because those guys were teammates. They got a lot of love for one another at Duke. 2, it's because they're both having spectacular years in different ways.
Yes.
Right? Because Cooper is like the primary, source of scoring on his team. So all the team's game plan for him, right? And Jason Kidd put him on the ball early because he wanted to help. He was looking long term. Like when you see Coop now off the bounce and things like that, he's so much better than just being a rim runner or a striker, somebody who can get out in transition, tip balls, get loose balls, hustle plays. Like, no, his game is grown. So I think it's more difficult for him to get his offense, even though he probably plays, he's the number one option.
Yeah.
But what Knipple was doing, man, playing in Charlotte, he broke the record. He broke Kemba Walker's record the other day for the most threes in the franchise season. He's doing a fantastic job. If there's a year for co-MVP, co-rookie of the years, I think this is a great opportunity for it to be a co-rookie of the year. But if I had to give the edge after Cooper's week this week, I'll go with Coop.
96 points in 2 games, the most by a rookie since Wilt Chamberlain.
And LeBron was on that court.
And LeBron was on the court, and he had a good game, by the way, too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another little side story. But I think that Knipple is my vote. I think that he's been such a key cog in the revitalization of a once proud franchise back in the day, right? Like, kids today don't know that the Hornets were a good, fun team back in the day.
For sure.
So Larry Johnson, like they
Muggsy Bowles,
they had some
Dale Curry.
They had some players, and that was a team that you were like, damn, all right, we're gonna go play the Hornets tonight. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Because you had some boys that were gonna elbow you.
Absolutely.
And between the Bobcats and between going back to the Hornets and like kind of the being in the desert for the 40 years that they were, if we were gonna go biblical on them after Easter, his ability to be the adult in the young adult in a young room.
Yeah.
Because you have guys like LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, guys that have come with some baggage outside of basketball. And he's been able to come in and be like, all right, I'm fitting into the program here. I'm fitting into my role. My role is not going to be the guard, right? LaMelo, you're one of the best point guards in the league in creativity. But what I am going to do is help you space the floor.
Absolutely.
I'm going to help you play without the ball. I'm going to move without the ball. Like, his ability to do all of those things, it's almost like he's been in the league for 10 years.
Yeah.
The way that he moves without the ball, Katie, which talk to that, like how important is a rookie understanding how to play without the ball?
It's KYG, know your game, right? And man, he's bought in and accepted his role in that team, and it's really valuable. And that's why they have so many seams that they can drive. They like playing with each other, and he's very underrated as a ball handler, right? Because if you try and crowd him, like he got it on the string.
Yep.
Right, and his dad does too. I saw his dad online the other night playing some good ball. So your pick, my pick. I like both of those guys.
I like the co-rookie.
I would like to see a co-rookie of the year. I think that'd be good for basketball. To spread the love.
Basketball's in good hands.
It is.
Between what we got on the MVP side, which we talked about last show, basically everybody in the MVP race is sub 32. Like that's a very good place to be, a healthy place to be when you're in the league, and when you got the tightest rookie race that we've seen in 20 years, 30 years, maybe, depending on, on who you like. Like, the young guys are there too. And there's so many great young players around the league. But like, talking about Knipple and talking about Cooper Flagg, same school at Duke, and have had major impacts on their teams and will have major impacts in the NBA going forward. Like, I like our list though. Let's see how many we get right.
Yeah, well, hopefully we do better than we did in the tournament, buddy.
I mean, I have Michigan winning it all in the tournament, so I'm at least safe there.
Yeah.
But, all right, we'll see that game tonight.
Yes, sir.
We'll be back on Thursday. Make sure you show some love on Spotify, on YouTube, wherever it is that you catch us. He's Keon Dooling. You follow him at Keon Dooling. Follow me at 10day Tony. And make sure you're downloading us. And let's see, we're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. Show some love on WDFL, the app.
Right, the app.
South Florida. If you're here locally, go check us out on channel 18, and we'll be back on Thursday to recap the national championship and some more NBA stuff. We love you. Peace.
We out.
Inside the game. Yeah. Turn it up. Welcome to the crossover. Keon Dooling, 10-day tuning. Let's talk NBA.